Hello. If you are watching the replay, please make sure that you like the video and comment on it, please, to help the viewership and engagement. I haven't done a show in almost 3 weeks, so I don't even know if my audio is set up correctly. So I'm going to do that thing again where I wait for somebody to tell me that my audio is good before I even start. I'm like brand new all over again. Forget how to do this. If you're watching, please let me know in the comments if you can hear me. I'm not going to start until... Oh, okay. Thank you, Shannon. Okay, so I haven't done a show in almost 3 weeks because I've been ridiculously busy collecting signatures for my Boston City Council candidacy for myself and for Sean Nelson. And we're finally done with signature collecting. I am officially on the ballot. There are officially 8 candidates on the ballot. So that's exciting. The counting is done. And yeah, that's really exciting. The counting just got finished today. So no other surprise people should be popping in. We have 8 candidates, which means that we don't have to have a preliminary in September, and we'll go straight to the November election. So it's official. I am on the ballot for the November election, and I've been busy collecting signatures and trying to be present at as many things as I can be, meetings or, like anything that I hear about that's going on anywhere in Boston. I've been trying to show up places and, introduce myself to people or just be present to hear about concerns in neighborhoods across the city. So I'm like exhausted today. I had trial. Well, I didn't have trial. I was supposed to have trial. So I'm going to talk about what happened in court today. And then I'll talk a little bit about what happened at the meeting that I was at tonight. And I'm going to come back to doing this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 o'clock. So, like I said earlier, if you're watching on Facebook, I'm streaming live on Facebook and YouTube right now. So if you're watching on Facebook, please go over to YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's called People's Press Media. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers, and I think that we're at like 160-ish right now. And we're definitely going to be posting more videos on YouTube, and I'm going to be doing this 3 times a week, and I'll be going live on Facebook probably anytime I'm out in person or whatever, like I still do. And always, always, always comment on the video after when you're watching the replay to help the analytics or whatever, so that we can hopefully get these videos seen by more people. So I had court today in Malden District Court for my arrest at DESE, which is the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, aka like the Department of Education for the state of Massachusetts. So we have a little bit of history. When I say we, I mean like the people that I've protested with over the past couple of years. We have a little bit of history with DESE. We had a big protest there back in May of 2021 to protest mandates in school and masks and all that. And we had a pretty good turnout at that protest, and it was loud and it was great, and we got our demands on the news, and we got the front page of the Herald, and it was a good first protest for us. And then we went back a month later and had another good protest, and um, then we've been there like a couple times since then. That was back in 2021. But in August of 2022, we went not to protest outside like the other couple times we went there, but to actually attend the meeting. Just because it always helps to attend every meeting of government officials and just always have eyes on people, whether you plan on speaking or not, whether you plan on testifying, whether you plan on, having any participation at all, even just being there to pay attention to what's happening, is something that more people should be doing. So, a bunch of people tried to attend that hearing. Hold on one second. Hold on.
Right now I'm on the train, so if any like background noise.
Okay, so you guys, I found out earlier that Sean Nelson made the ballot too, and he was resting all day because he works overnight. So now he just called me, and I want to say on the show, congratulations to Sean.
Hi everybody, thank you for all the support I got for the 2 weeks. I started out late, but I made it to the finish line with the number I needed to run against city council this year.
So we're both on the ballot. There's 8 candidates, and me and Sean are 2 of them. So, all right. Well, are you going to work?
Yeah, I'm on the train right now, heading to work.
All right. Have a good night at work. I'll text you in a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.
Okay, that was exciting. I didn't want to say it at the beginning of the show because I hadn't had a chance to talk to him yet. So yeah, Sean's on the ballot too. So anyway, August of 2022, August 15th, 2022, few of us decided to attend the DESE meeting. So they have a monthly board meeting, the Department of Education, and it's in Malden. Their office is in Malden. And so we decided to go to the meeting last August, and the security guard and like the people that work there probably they know who we are. So they already, had the looks, the faces, the attitudes before we even spoke to them. But we all walked in. There were a bunch of people trying to attend the meeting, and right at the beginning, the police officer and the security guard were like, we're only letting 15 to 20 people in, which is bogus because there's at least like 40 seats in the room. So 15 to 20 people makes no sense at all. And of course, they give preference to legislators, Mass Teachers Association people, and Joe Comerford was there. And so they take names and ask for your ID at the door before you go into the meeting. And in case you didn't know, you don't have to show your ID to enter a building. So you can refuse to show your ID, and that really shouldn't be grounds for them to keep you out because we're attending a public meeting. We have every right to be there, and there's no law that says that we have to show ID to be there. So I wasn't showing my ID. So we try to go in. They're not letting us. They're telling us that people who signed up to speak in advance have preference to get in, which like this is the state headquarters for the Department of Education. Why is it not in a bigger venue? Why ever would 15 to 20 people be enough for a board meeting of the Massachusetts Department of Education. I don't understand. I feel like it should be in a much bigger venue. So they weren't trying to let us in from the beginning. Some people were like kind of bullying us because they were asking like why we were there. They might have known who we were too, like the anti-maskers, why we were there, what we were opposing, blah blah blah. So we had like, you know, some conversation with some of the other members of the public in the hallway, and I wasn't showing my ID, so I proceeded to try to walk in the room, and the police officer stopped me and told me that I couldn't go in there. I asked him why. He said, "You haven't been invited in yet." But other members of the public had already gone in. So it really didn't make any sense to me that he was stopping me. And then while he was talking to me, other people were continuing to go in. So we had a little back and forth. And then he stopped blocking me. And a bunch of people walked into the room. I wasn't the only one. And I had my kids. My kids were in the lobby with my cousin who was there to help me with the kids. And so when I had walked in the room, they didn't come in with me. So when I turned around to go over by the door to wave my cousin to bring my kids in, the cop pushed me out of the room and told me that I need to leave. And I was just asking him why I need to leave. And he says the security guard told you multiple times you need to leave. And I was like, but why? Like, I'm just trying to sit down and watch the meeting. Like, I'm not being disruptive or anything like that. And it didn't matter. There was no like logical reason for him asking me to leave. They just said that I needed to leave. So I challenged it. I questioned it. I got arrested. They charged me with trespassing and malicious destruction of property, which is a felony. Malicious destruction of property over $1,200, which is a felony. And so I was very confused when I got to court that day and heard that I was being charged with destruction of property. I'm like, what? What? First of all, destruction of property. Second of all, malicious? Like, what? So I find out that it's like the metal like turnstile things that you have to walk through to get in. And so these specific machines, they have like access cards. The people that work there or whatever have access cards. So they tap their card and the thing flashes a green light and it opens, right? But if you don't tap a card, it still opens. It just flashes a red light. And that's it. So it's not like we had to push through them or that we had to force them to open. Anybody who wasn't let in by somebody that works there, the people that walked in on their own, like you just walk and it opens. So there was no like forceful entry or anything like that. So I was like baffled by this malicious destruction of property charge. And then that was in August. So since day one, because Malden Court, the DA's office or whatever, knew that they had no case on me. They weren't going to be able to make these charges stick. They've been offering me since day one. I believe they started with 6 months of pretrial probation. So what pretrial probation is, it's not like probation where you have to check in with a probation officer or be on GPS or anything like that. It's like nothing, basically. Just like you can't get arrested during the specified amount of time that they give you. And if you get arrested, nothing crazy happens. It's just that your case comes like back up on the docket list and you have to go back to court and like reassess. Like your pretrial probation is no longer in effect anymore. So now you have to like make a new plan or whatever, right? So I didn't want to take the pretrial probation because even though it was explained to me by my attorney, and you know, I had a good understanding of what that meant, what I couldn't wrap my head around was if they know they have no case, and so basically, and then at the end of the pretrial probation, the case just gets dismissed. So it goes as a dismissal. You don't get charged with anything. And that's it. So once you agree to pretrial probation, as long as you don't get arrested within that amount of time, and once you reach the end of the time, it gets dismissed and you never have to go back to court for it after you agree to this pretrial probation, unless you get into trouble. So my thing was like, if they know they have no case, why can't they dismiss it? Just dismiss it outright from the beginning. Like, I shouldn't have been arrested. There was absolutely no reason for me to not be allowed in the meeting. So there was like no grounds to say that I was trespassing, you know? So I couldn't wrap my head around how that made sense. Like, why do they need this pretrial probation? Why can't they just dismiss it? And in my opinion, the way that it looks to me is that they have to keep the upper hand. They have to stay in control. And, you know, if you get in trouble during that time, then fucking, you know, points for them, right? But even if you don't, they still held it over your head for 6 months or however long it is that your pretrial probation is. So my thing was, I'm not going to agree to that. I'd rather, like, you know, get them to do the work for a whole bunch of nothing, so that, you know, like, no, I don't think that this case is like this big significant case that I'm going to be able to prove this major point with, right? But it's just like, every time we compromise or every time we let them have the upper hand, we're cheating ourselves, and we're just allowing them to continue to violate us. So no, I didn't think that, like, continuing this case without accepting the pretrial probation was going to be some groundbreaking thing that I was doing, or that I was going to prove this major point. But it's the principle of questioning why do they insist on holding it over my head? If they know that there's no case here, why do they not just dismiss it? Right? And if the reason why they don't want to deal with it is because they don't want to put in the work, they don't want to waste time and resources, money, whatever, to go to trial and all that, then dismiss it. And if you're not going to dismiss it, then we're going to go to trial. And then I'll win there, you know, because I didn't fucking do anything wrong. I shouldn't have been arrested. I was trying to attend a public fucking meeting. Member of the public, trying to attend a meeting. I did nothing wrong. So, you know, there have been a number of court dates since last August, like once every month or every other month or whatever. And everything is just like the same thing. Every time I go, they're offering me pretrial probation again. And I've denied it every single time, declined it, you know, refused, whatever. And so then finally, today was supposed to be the start of my trial. I had support there. You know, we had witnesses. Everything was all set. It was supposed to be a trial, or at least supposed to be the start of a trial. And then I get in and my lawyer tells me, hey, you know, now they're offering, they're very likely going to do 60 days, only 60 days, only. So it's been 9 months, only 60 days of pretrial probation. And then that's it. And you don't have any conditions or anything because, you know, up until there was some kind of like agreement or conclusion to the case, I had a stay away order from DESE because that's like my, like bail conditions, or like conditions of release or whatever. So once I agreed to pretrial probation, then those conditions no longer apply. So I can go back to DESE and there's no stay away, you know, whatever. So yeah, so my lawyer tells me when I get in this morning that the DA is going to agree, or the ADA or whatever is going to agree to 60 days of pretrial probation, and you know, all the conditions go away, no conditions. And I said, no, I'm not agreeing to pretrial probation. I didn't agree with you know, if I agreed to it on day one, this case would have been gone and done 3 months ago. You know, I didn't decline this entire time repeatedly to just at the end of it on the day that I'm supposed to have trial, now that we're here prepared for trial with witnesses and all, turn around and say, okay, now I'll take the pretrial probation after all this. That's not what I intended to do. And my lawyer thought that that was the best route to go. And so, even though I still don't think that that was the greatest decision, that's the conclusion that we came to. And I agreed to the pretrial probation. It was presented to me to be 60 days. I asked for 30. They ended at 90. So, I'm on pretrial probation for 90 days. That's the conclusion of that. And, like, so much thanks to my lawyer and friend, Bill Gens, because he's helped us out with a few things over the past few years. And I appreciate him and his work and, the people that work for him. And it's not exactly the outcome that I wanted, but I'm not, it's done and over with, and the case will be dismissed in 90 days. So we're done with that. I have a couple other cases that I'm still dealing with and a campaign to run. So I guess getting things off my plate is probably what's best anyway. So that's what happened at court today. And thank you so much to everybody. So many people came out to support today. I don't even really want to say to support me, because like in these First Amendment cases and these cases where they're like hardcore violating our First and Fourth Amendment rights, these cases are not just about the defendant. It's about everybody, because a violation against, your civil rights, constitutional rights is a violation on everybody. It's at some point, even if you don't think that it affects you now, it's going to affect you at some point. So, coming out to support any one of these cases, whether it be for me or me and Shannon or Sean or, other people in other places, it's supporting our civil rights. And it's very important to have people in court to show support, even if it's like a quick, like status hearing or, something that takes 5 minutes. Having people in the courtroom has such a powerful impact. And it's one of the very simple yet powerful things that you can do to fight back is to show up for court support. So I thank you and appreciate everybody that showed up today. So many people, so much so that I didn't even get to talk to everybody that was there. And I feel horrible about that. But thank you guys so much. Seriously. So yeah, that's what happened at court. So that case will be done in 90 days. Granted, I don't get arrested within the next 90 days. I don't plan on it. And so moving on from there, tonight, I went to this community meeting, being held by the city of Boston, the mayor, in West Roxbury, about the road diets is what I think some of the residents of West Roxbury are calling it. Basically, where they're condensing the roads out there now, with bike lanes and turn only lanes and this lane and that lane and blah, 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 blah. Just basically making it even more undesirable to drive around the city of Boston, no matter what neighborhood you're in. If you know what's to come, about 15-minute cities, about their push to get rid of vehicles and get everybody on a bike. It's way easier to surveil people when they're on bicycles. 15-minute cities, I don't know if I just said that, then that's why we're getting bike lanes everywhere. That's why they're taking away driving lanes and putting in bus only lanes and left turn only and right turn only and these like massive strips of street that just have diagonal white lines across them with those like plastic white things. I don't even know, like just a whole bunch of space that's now just blocked off. It's not a bike lane, it's not a bus lane, not a taxi lane. I don't know what it is. They're all over the place. There's no parking there. They're doing all of this to condense the streets, to make them smaller, to congest traffic. A very good point that somebody brought up tonight was that I think American Legion Highway, I'm probably wrong, one of the big streets over there. If you got the bike lane on the right side and you're taking away a driving lane and turning it into like 2 or less lanes, you can't get a fire truck through there easily. You can't get emergency vehicles through. So the city of Boston, whoever it was giving these presentations, they had these fabulous looking presentations with all of the good reasons why this is great for West Roxbury and why we need to do this to the streets and how well it's worked in other places. And because, the focus is safety, right? Keeping everybody safe. When there have been this many accidents and actually naming people who have died by, like pedestrians that have been hit by vehicles and died. Somebody called them out on something though. They lied about one person's name. I don't remember. But yeah, all this stuff about how great it is and how safe everything's going to be. And now me and most likely anybody watching this knows that these hearings and meetings and shit are just for show. Like they have to go through this process and make it look like they heard from the residents and took our opinions into consideration, blah, 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 when the deal's already done. It's already happening, right? We know that. But I thought that it was interesting that in these presentations, at the tops of some of the slides, it didn't say like, our proposal or, our plans or whatever. It said what we're doing. And it says it all right there. They're not here to ask for your approval. They're not here to get the opinions on the people in the community and the neighborhoods and say, we think that this might be great for these reasons. We want to hear what you think. And maybe we'll have some back and forth and figure out if this is something that we want to do, or maybe it's something that we don't want to do. That's not what these meetings and hearings are for. They're there to give you the illusion that they care what the community thinks. But at the end of the day, they're doing it. Whatever they say that they're doing it. And, it's the same with development. I was at a meeting last week in Savin Hill where they had developers come in and talk about these massive buildings that are going up at Bayside Expo Center and somewhere else in like Upham's Corner, Savin Hill area. And I'm like, guys, pay attention. These people are paid to be here and make this sound good to you. This is marketing. This is sales. They're here to make it sound good to you. Oh, all these opportunities. They're going to have a building at Bayside Expo Center with 1,900 units. They said it's going to create 40,000 jobs and 15,000 permanent jobs. There's going to be 2/3 of the bottom is going to be retail space. All these great things, green space and walking paths and bicycling paths and blah, 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 blah. We don't need 40,000 jobs. We don't need 15,000 jobs. And not to mention the fact that this retail space is not going to go to mom and pop shops. It's not going to go to small businesses. It's going to go to big corporations, Starbucks, Target, the same shit you see on the ground floors of all of these fucking buildings. Big corporations with minimum wage jobs. We don't need more minimum wage jobs. Small business owners all over, not even just small business owners, even the bigger corporation owned businesses are struggling to find help. I don't think that you could drive down a single street in the city of Boston, period, that has a business on it that doesn't have a now hiring sign. I know somebody that owns a restaurant who says that they have employees that are stealing from them and they can't fire them because nobody's applying. So they have to just keep people working for them that are stealing from them because they have nobody to replace them with. Like, there's no shortage of jobs here. And as far as the 1,900 units for all this new housing that we need, because we have a homelessness crisis, right? So we need more housing. No, we have a cost of living crisis. We have an affordability crisis. And we don't need more housing. We don't need more units. I was having a conversation with another candidate for a district last week at this Savin Hill meeting. And I said, like, the last thing that Boston needs in any neighborhood is fucking development. All of the development needs to stop. We don't need any more development. And she said, oh, yes, we absolutely do, because we have more people that want to live in Boston than we do units to house them in. And I'm like, lady, sorry, I actually like this person, so I don't even like want to sound like rude, right? Speak about this conversation, but like, where are you from? Because I'm from Boston. People that are from Boston that can't afford to live here anymore are being pushed out because we can't afford to live here anymore. So I don't care about the people that want to live in Boston, that are coming from other places. I care about the people that are from Boston being first priority. And I care about the people that are already on the streets in Boston who are from Boston. And more housing units is not going to magically take these people off the streets and put them in those units. We don't need more people coming to Boston. We need to find solutions for the people that are on the streets and go from there. We don't need to be bringing more people in. They're trying to pack us in like sardines and turn us into the next Hong Kong. Look at like Chinatown. In Chinatown, my friend lives in this building that has, they have restaurants, grocery stores, all that, like right downstairs, a block away. Inside the building, there's a gym, there's a conference room, there's a lounge. There's all these like common areas that people that live there can use. And it's like all of the amenities and everything that you could ever need, like right there in your building. And that sounds great when you think about it, right? Like, so convenient, right? But how many of us are willing to trade our freedom for convenience? Like, is that all that your freedom is worth to you? Like the future for your children? You want things to be convenient for you now? Are you thinking about how it's going to be for them later when they are, stuck in this one, however many mile radius of, with 15-minute city? And, they can't have a car. They can't travel anywhere. Like, they're just stuck, confined to this 15-minute area. Like, we need to use our critical thinking. We need to look at what we know about history and do some research on what the plans are for, Agenda 2030 or whatever, 2050, all that shit. And like, if you know what's going on, time's up. Like, you can't just continue to sit idly by and hope that you make it through. Like, you can't. Everybody has to start doing something. Everybody has to start educating the next person, just like how me and a couple of friends of mine have been going to these meetings. Like, yeah, I'm going to the meetings because I'm a candidate for office, but I was doing it before I was a candidate for office, and now that I am a candidate for office, it's my responsibility to go and have these conversations with people and to try to educate people on, what the plans are and try to explain these things in a way that, first of all, I'm not trying to sound like I know everything. I definitely do not. I don't retain a lot of information. First of all, I'm not a great researcher. And, I don't think that like, I have all the information and all the answers, because I don't. But it's up to us, the people, to educate the next person. Every single person has the ability to, what is it they say, like each one reach one teach one, right? Every single person has the ability to educate the next person. Like, you're educating me, I'm educating you, and we're paying it forward every way we go. And that's what we have to do. And we have to stop going to the government for help. They're not here to help us. Like, how many times have we heard that over the past 3 years, that they're doing this to make us safe, and they're doing this in the name of public health or public safety or like whatever. They are here to carry out the agenda and to get rich and to keep us content with being poor and to keep us hating each other so that we're not paying attention to what they're doing. And we've watched it. We've watched it happen with the North End now 2 summers in a row. The city has successfully destroyed the North End. And if you think that just because visibly and physically the restaurants and shit and everybody's still in the North End, you think that the North End is not destroyed, try again. The North End is destroyed because the city managed to effectively come through there and pit the residents against the restaurant owners, and everybody fucking hates each other. We're letting, and it happened in this meeting tonight, and it happens in the other meetings that I've been in. Residents fighting residents, people, like people fighting each other. And you got Michelle Wu sitting up in the back of the room, smiling, not giving a fuck, because, your problems aren't affecting her life. Your, way of living isn't affecting her life or her paycheck. In 2025, she's either getting that raise or she's moving to a different office and getting an even bigger raise. She doesn't care. These other elected officials, selected officials, whatever you want to call them, they don't care. This is all a fucking show. And yeah, Shannon says the units that they build are not guaranteed to go to the people of Boston. This is true. Stephanie Leach, these people are not thinking of the future residents. They are thinking of themselves and what is good for them now to make money. Yeah. So yeah, I spoke at this meeting tonight. I think there were like over 50 people that spoke at this meeting tonight. Rob Burke was there. I think that there were like over 200 people in attendance at this meeting in West Roxbury. And it's great to see a neighborhood come together like that. But at the same time, like, I've watched it happen, and so many of us have watched it happen so many times over the past couple of years, probably longer than that. People that have been in politics or paying attention to politics, have obviously seen way more than I've seen for more years than the past 3 that I've been paying attention. But it's really sad because it's like, it feels great and it's inspiring, and it's like great vibes when you have like a whole bunch of people in a room that are fighting, for anything, that are fighting together. But it sucks at the same time because it's the same cycle. No matter what neighborhood you're in, no matter what the issue is, everybody's going to show up to the meeting and, yell and stomp their feet and tell off the elected officials and tell off each other and, advocate for what they think is right. And then that's it. Nothing happens after that. And it's really sad. And what should happen after that? I don't know. Like I said, I don't claim to have the answers or the solutions to these things. I'm never going to stop fighting. you know, and I'm going to show up to as many, you know, meetings or hearings or whatever it is that I can. And, you know, try to get people to think more about like the bigger picture rather than just what's in front of them. I think a lot of the problem is that we only address issues and situations when it's directly in front of us, or like when we feel like it's directly affecting us in the moment. We wait for that to act on it. And it's putting us in a really vulnerable, dangerous situation because we're literally waiting to be violated before we step up and do anything. And they're walking all over us. And you know, how long are we going to let it go on? Do we care about the world that we're leaving behind for our children? You know, I don't know. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. It's just like so many different feelings, because it's great to see people advocating, but then how do I, like, what do I even suggest? I don't know. What do we do after that? Does anybody else have any suggestions? I don't know. I mean, I always think that protesting is a great tool, but to what extent? Where? How? How do we protest? Where do we protest? How relentless do we do it? You know, like how many times are we going to get arrested? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I wish that somebody had the answer and we could figure it out, because I don't want to leave. I love Boston. This is my home, and I'm raising my kids here, and I don't want to have to go somewhere else because I can't afford it, or because it's been made to be unlivable. And I mean, anything that happens here is going to happen to everywhere else in the country. It's just a matter of time. If you still think that there's not a vicious agenda for one world government, one world religion, and all of that, then please start digging. But yeah, I think it's been like 45 minutes or so. I'm exhausted. I think I'm just about ready to get off of here. I'm glad that I forced myself to do this tonight, even though I'm tired, because I just missed like 2.5 weeks of this, and I do plan on continuing to do it 3 nights a week and bringing guests on and all of that. I think things are about to get a lot more hectic with now 2 campaigns to be working on, because me and Sean are both officially on the ballot. And hopefully we'll have the same news about Padma soon. Padma is running for District 7, Boston City Council District 7, which is like Roxbury, Dorchester area, I think. And there was a lawsuit, like the city council sued the city council, and over the redistricting maps that they did last year. They changed up the districts, and a judge ruled that they weren't using they didn't come to their new maps in the appropriate ways. So they made them make a new map, and now we have a new map. And it was just basically announced today that all of the candidates that are running for city council districts got an extension. So they basically have like another month to collect their signatures. So hopefully pretty soon we'll be announcing that Padma is also on the ballot. And that would be exciting. So yeah, I'm going to get off here. I'll be back Friday night at 10. And I'm going to be trying to post more about things that are going on. My website is live for my campaign. I am now accepting donations, and I need them. So whatever you can give, whenever you can give, please give, because I definitely don't have money to spend on campaign materials. So As much as I always hate to ask people for help, this is a campaign and money needs to be spent. So please, if you can give. If not, when you see my website posted, please share it. I'll be posting it excessively because I need donations. And yeah, so I'm going to be done. Thank you guys for watching. I don't see anything happening in the comments, so I'm going to assume that nobody has anything to add or any questions or anything like that. Shame on Woo, per usual. Go back to Chicago. I agree. Shame on Woo. She acknowledged my existence tonight, though. Me and Rob were outside, and she said, like, what is she said, like good to see you guys or something. I don't know, but she said you guys. So does she know now that I am a Boston resident? I don't know. But yeah, so I'll be back on Friday night, and I'm going to be probably posting my website and all of that like tonight and tomorrow. So please, if you can donate. If you can, if you can't donate, please share it. And I will try to keep everybody updated on the campaign as much as I can, and joining forces with Sean and Padma, and like, let's take back Boston. I'll see you guys on Friday night. Thank you.